Welcome to the Bible in a Year reading plan. Together we will read through the entire Bible. A portion from the Old Testament, New Testament, Psalms and Proverbs every day. Today's reading is in the video image. Read along, listen daily, and grow in the Word. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay on track with us daily. And you can always go back to previous videos if you miss any days. Joshua 4:1 And it came to pass, when all the people had completely crossed over the Jordan, that the Lord spoke to Joshua, saying, Take for yourselves 12 men from the people, 1 man from every tribe, 3 and command them, saying, Take for yourselves 12 stones from here, out of the midst of the Jordan, from the place where the priest's feet stood firm. You shall carry them over with you and leave them in the lodging place where you lodge tonight. For then Joshua called the 12 men whom he had appointed from the children of Israel, 1 man from every tribe, 5 And Joshua said to them, Cross over before the ark of the Lord your God into the midst of the Jordan, and each one of you take up a stone on his shoulder, according to the number of the tribes of the children of Israel, 6 That this may be a sign among you when your children ask in time to come, saying, What do these stones mean to you? 7 Then you shall answer them that the waters of the Jordan were cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. When it crossed over the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. And these stones shall be for a memorial to the children of Israel forever. 8 And the children of Israel did so, just as Joshua commanded, and took up 12 stones from the midst of the Jordan, as the Lord had spoken to Joshua, according to the number of the tribes of the children of Israel, and carried them over with them to the place where they lodged, and laid them down there. 9 Then Joshua set up 12 stones in the midst of the Jordan, in the place where the feet of the priests who bore the ark of the covenant stood, and they are there to this day. 10 So the priests who bore the ark stood in the midst of the Jordan until everything was finished that the Lord had commanded Joshua to speak to the people, according to all that Moses had commanded Joshua. And the people hurried and crossed over. 11 Then it came to pass, when all the people had completely crossed over, that the ark of the Lord and the priests crossed over in the presence of the people. 12 And the men of Reuben, the men of Gad, and half the tribe of Manasseh crossed over armed before the children of Israel, as Moses had spoken to them. 13 About 40,000 prepared for war crossed over before the Lord for battle, to the plains of Jericho. 14 On that day the Lord exalted Joshua in the sight of all Israel, and they feared him, as they had feared Moses, all the days of his life. 15 Then the Lord spoke to Joshua, saying, 16 Command the priests who bear the ark of the testimony to come up from the Jordan. 17 Joshua therefore commanded the priests, saying, Come up from the Jordan. 18 And it came to pass, when the priests who bore the ark of the covenant of the Lord had come from the midst of the Jordan, and the soles of the priests' feet touched the dry land, that the waters of the Jordan returned to their place and overflowed all its banks as before. 19 Now the people came up from the Jordan on the 10th day of the first month, and they camped in Gilgal on the east border of Jericho. 20 And those 12 stones which they took out of the Jordan, Joshua set up in Gilgal. 21 Then he spoke to the children of Israel, saying, When your children ask their fathers in time to come, saying, What are these stones? 22 Then you shall let your children know, saying, Israel crossed over this Jordan on dry land. 23 For the Lord your God dried up the waters of the Jordan before you until you had crossed over, as the Lord your God did to the Red Sea, which he dried up before us until we had crossed over. 24 That all the peoples of the earth may know the hand of the Lord, that it is mighty, that you may fear the Lord your God forever. Joshua 5:1 So it was, when all the kings of the Amorites who were on the west side of the Jordan, and all the kings of the Canaanites who were by the sea, heard that the Lord had dried up the waters of the Jordan from before the children of Israel until we had crossed over, that their heart melted, and there was no spirit in them any longer because of the children of Israel. 2 At that time the Lord said to Joshua, Make flint knives for yourself, and circumcise the sons of Israel again the second time. 3 So Joshua made flint knives for himself, and circumcised the sons of Israel at the hill of the foreskins. 4. And this is the reason why Joshua circumcised them. All the people who came out of Egypt who were males, all the men of war, had died in the wilderness on the way, after they had come out of Egypt. 5. For all the people who came out had been circumcised, but all the people born in the wilderness, on the way as they came out of Egypt, had not been circumcised. 6. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness, till all the people who were men of war, who came out of Egypt, were consumed, because they did not obey the voice of the Lord, to whom the Lord swore that he would not show them the land which the Lord had sworn to their fathers that he would give us, a land flowing with milk and honey. 7. Then Joshua circumcised their sons whom he raised up in their place, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not been circumcised on the way. 8. So it was, when they had finished circumcising all the people, that they stayed in their places in the camp till they were healed. 9. Then the Lord said to Joshua, This day I have rolled away the reproach of Egypt from you. Therefore the name of the place is called Gilgal to this day. 10. Now the children of Israel camped in Gilgal, and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at twilight on the plains of Jericho. 11. And they ate of the produce of the land on the day after the Passover, unleavened bread and parched grain, on the very same day. 12. Then the manna ceased on the day after they had eaten the produce of the land, and the children of Israel no longer had manna, but they ate the food of the land of Canaan that year. 13. And it came to pass, when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted his eyes and looked, and behold, a man stood opposite him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went to him and said to him, Are you for us or for our adversaries? 14. So he said, No, but as commander of the army of the Lord I have now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and worshipped, and said to him, What does my Lord say to his servant? 15. Then the commander of the Lord's army said to Joshua, Take your sandal off your foot, for the place where you stand is holy. And Joshua did so. Joshua 6. 1. Now Jericho was securely shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out, and none came in. 2. And the Lord said to Joshua, See, I have given Jericho into your hand, its king, and the mighty men of valor. 3. You shall march around the city, all you men of war, you shall go all around the city once. This you shall do 6 days. 4. And 7 priests shall bear 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark. But the 7th day you shall march around the city 7 times, and the priests shall blow the trumpets. 5. It shall come to pass, when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the trumpet, that all the people shall shout with a great shout, then the wall of the city will fall down flat, and the people shall go up every man straight before him. 6. Then Joshua the son of Nun called the priests and said to them, Take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 priests bear 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord. 7. And he said to the people, Proceed, and march around the city, and let him who is armed advance before the ark of the Lord. 8. So it was, when Joshua had spoken to the people, that the 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the Lord advanced and blew the trumpets, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord followed them. 9. The armed men went before the priests who blew the trumpets, and the rear guard came after the ark, while the priests continued blowing the trumpets. 10. Now Joshua had commanded the people, saying, You shall not shout or make any noise with your voice, nor shall a word proceed out of your mouth, until the day I say to you, Shout! Then you shall shout. 11. So he had the ark of the Lord circle the city, going around it once. Then they came into the camp and lodged in the camp. 12. And Joshua rose early in the morning, and the priests took up the ark of the Lord. 13. Then 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord went on continually and blew with the trumpets. And the armed men went before them. But the rear guard came after the ark of the Lord, while the priests continued blowing the trumpets. 14. And the 2nd day they marched around the city once and returned to the camp. So they did 6 days. 15. But it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early, about the dawning of the day, and marched around the city 7 times in the same manner. On that day only they marched around the city 7 times. 16. And the 7th time it happened, when the priests blew the trumpets, that Joshua said to the people, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city." 17 Now the city shall be doomed by the Lord to destruction, it and all who are in it. Only Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all who are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. 18 And you, by all means abstain from the accursed things, lest you become accursed when you take of the accursed things, and make the camp of Israel a curse, and trouble it. 19 But all the silver and gold, and vessels of bronze and iron, are consecrated to the Lord. They shall come into the treasury of the Lord. 20 So the people shouted when the priests blew the trumpets. And it happened when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat. Then the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city. 21 And they utterly destroyed all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, ox and sheep and donkey, with the edge of the sword. 22 But Joshua had said to the two men who had spied out the country, "Go into the harlot's house, and from there bring out the woman and all that she has, as you swore to her." 23 And the young men who had been spies went in and brought out Rahab, her father, her mother, her brothers, and all that she had. So they brought out all her relatives and left them outside the camp of Israel. 24 But they burned the city and all that was in it with fire. Only the silver and gold, and the vessels of bronze and iron, they put into the treasury of the house of the Lord. 25 And Joshua spared Rahab the harlot, her father's household, and all that she had. So she dwells in Israel to this day, because she hid the messengers whom Joshua sent to spy out Jericho. 26 Then Joshua charged them at that time, saying, "Cursed be the man before the Lord who rises up and builds this city Jericho. He shall lay its foundation with his firstborn, and with his youngest he shall set up its gates." 27 So the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame spread throughout all the country. Luke 1:21 And the people waited for Zacharias, and marveled that he lingered so long in the temple. 22 But when he came out, he could not speak to them, and they perceived that he had seen a vision in the temple, for he beckoned to them and remained speechless. 23 And so it was, as soon as the days of his service were completed, that he departed to his own house. 24 Now after those days his wife Elizabeth conceived, and she hid herself 5 months, saying, 25 Thus the Lord has dealt with me, in the days when he looked on me, to take away my reproach among people. 26 Now in the 6th month the angel Gabriel was sent by God to a city of Galilee named Nazareth. 27 To a virgin betrothed to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David. The virgin's name was Mary. 28 And having come in, the angel said to her, "Rejoice, highly favored one, the Lord is with you, blessed are you among women." 29 But when she saw him, she was troubled at his saying, and considered what manner of greeting this was. 30 Then the angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God." 31 And behold, you will conceive in your womb and bring forth a son, and shall call his name Jesus. 32 He will be great, and will be called the Son of the Highest, and the Lord God will give him the throne of his father David. 33 And he will reign over the house of Jacob forever, and of his kingdom there will be no end. 34 Then Mary said to the angel, "How can this be, since I do not know a man?" 35 And the angel answered and said to her, "The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Highest will overshadow you. Therefore, also, that Holy One who is to be born will be called the Son of God." 36 Now indeed, Elizabeth your relative has also conceived a son in her old age, and this is now the 6th month for her who was called barren. 37 For with God nothing will be impossible. 38 Then Mary said, "Behold the maidservant of the Lord. Let it be to me according to your word." And the angel departed from her. Psalm 78. 1 A contemplation of Asaph. Give ear, O my people, to my law, incline your ears to the words of my mouth. 2 I will open my mouth in a parable, I will utter dark sayings of old, 3 which we have heard and known, And our fathers have told us. 4 We will not hide them from their children, telling to the generation to come the praises of the Lord, and his strength and his wonderful works that he has done. 5 For he established a testimony in Jacob, and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children. 6 That the generation to come might know them, the children who would be born, that they may arise and declare them to their children. 7 That they may set their hope in God, and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments. 8 And may not be like their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that did not set its heart aright, and whose spirit was not faithful to God. 9 The children of Ephraim, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle. 10 They did not keep the covenant of God. They refused to walk in his law. 11 And forgot his works and his wonders that he had shown them. 12 Marvelous things he did in the sight of their fathers, in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zoan. 13 He divided the sea and caused them to pass through, and he made the waters stand up like a heap. 14 In the daytime also he led them with the cloud, and all the night with a light of fire. 15 He split the rocks in the wilderness, and gave them drink in abundance like the depths. 16 He also brought streams out of the rock, and caused waters to run down like rivers. 17 But they sinned even more against him by rebelling against the Most High in the wilderness. 18 And they tested God in their heart by asking for the food of their fancy. 19 Yes, they spoke against God. They said, can God prepare a table in the wilderness? 20 Behold, he struck the rock, so that the waters gushed out, and the streams overflowed. Can he give bread also? Can he provide meat for his people? 21 Therefore the Lord heard this and was furious, so a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel. 22 Because they did not believe in God, and did not trust in his salvation. 23 Yet he had commanded the clouds above, and opened the doors of heaven. 24 Had rained down manna on them to eat, and given them of the bread of heaven. 25 Men ate angels' food. He sent them food to the full. 26 He caused an east wind to blow in the heavens, and by his power he brought in the south wind. 27 He also rained meat on them like the dust, feathered fowl like the sand of the seas. 28 And he let them fall in the midst of their camp, all around their dwellings. 29 So they ate and were well filled, for he gave them their own desire. 30 They were not deprived of their craving, but while their food was still in their mouths. 31 The wrath of God came against them, and slew the stoutest of them, and struck down the choice men of Israel. 32 In spite of this, they still sinned, and did not believe in his wondrous works. 33 Therefore their days he consumed in futility, and their years in fear. 34 When he slew them, then they sought him, and they returned and sought earnestly for God. 35 Then they remembered that God was their rock, and the Most High God their Redeemer. 36 Nevertheless they flattered him with their mouth, and they lied to him with their tongue. 37 For their heart was not steadfast with him, nor were they faithful in his covenant. 38 But he, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity, and did not destroy them. Yes, many a time he turned his anger away, and did not stir up all his wrath. 39 For he remembered that they were but flesh, a breath that passes away and does not come again. 40 How often they provoked him in the wilderness, and grieved him in the desert. 41 Yes, again and again they tempted God, and limited the Holy One of Israel. 42 They did not remember his power, the day when he redeemed them from the enemy. 43 When he worked his signs in Egypt, and his wonders in the field of Zoan. 44 Turned their rivers into blood, and their streams, that they could not drink. 45 He sent swarms of flies among them, which devoured them, and frogs, which destroyed them. 46 He also gave their crops to the caterpillar, and their labor to the locust. 47 He destroyed their vines with hail, and their sycamore trees with frost. 48 He also gave up their cattle to the hail, and their flocks to fiery lightning. 49 He cast on them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, indignation, and trouble, by sending angels of destruction among them. 50 He made a path for his anger. He did not spare their soul from death, but gave their life over to the plague. 51 And destroyed all the firstborn in Egypt, the first of their strength in the tents of Ham. 52 But he made his own people go forth like sheep, and guided them in the wilderness like a flock. 53 And he led them on safely, so that they did not fear. But the sea overwhelmed their enemies. 54 And he brought them to his holy border, this mountain which his right hand had acquired. 55 He also drove out the nations before them, allotted them an inheritance by survey, and made the tribes of Israel dwell in their tents. 56 Yet they tested and provoked the Most High God, and did not keep his testimonies. 57 But turned back and acted unfaithfully like their fathers. They were turned aside like a deceitful bow. 58 For they provoked him to anger with their high places, and moved him to jealousy with their carved images. 59 When God heard this, he was furious, and greatly abhorred Israel. 60 So that he forsook the tabernacle of Shiloh, the tent he had placed among men. 61 And delivered his strength into captivity, and his glory into the enemy's hand. 62 He also gave his people over to the sword, and was furious with his inheritance. 63 The fire consumed their young men, and their maidens were not given in marriage. 64 Their priests fell by the sword, and their widows made no lamentation. 65 Then the Lord awoke us from sleep, like a mighty man who shouts because of wine. 66 And he beat back his enemies. He put them to a perpetual reproach. 67 Moreover, he rejected the tent of Joseph, and did not choose the tribe of Ephraim. 68 But chose the tribe of Judah, Mount Zion which he loved. 69 And he built his sanctuary like the heights, like the earth which he has established forever. 70 He also chose David his servant, and took him from the sheepfolds. 71 From following the ewes that had young he brought him, to shepherd Jacob his people, and Israel his inheritance. 72 So he shepherded them according to the integrity of his heart, and guided them by the skillfulness of his hands. Thanks for reading with me today. Come back tomorrow as we continue our journey through the Bible. Like and subscribe so you don't miss the next day.